The galaxy had long whispered about the Zorith. Their name alone was enough to send shivers down the spine of even the most powerful civilizations. The Zorith weren't just another alien species, they were an empire built on destruction. With technology far beyond anything Earth had ever known, their warriors were the perfect blend of deadly strength and advanced weaponry. No one dared to challenge them. Entire worlds had fallen before the Zorith, reduced to ashes and rubble, as the warriors of their race tore through the galaxy like unstoppable storms. Now, Earth, the last unclaimed jewel of the galaxy, was their next target. The humans of Earth, with their primitive weapons and outdated military tactics, were no match for the Zorith. It was almost laughable. The Zorith had faced countless civilizations more advanced than Earth, and all of them had fallen. Earth's defenses consisted of aging ships, outdated weapons, and human ingenuity, none of which could stand up to the sheer might of the Zorith. To the invaders, Earth's survival was no more than a footnote in history. A simple conquest that would take mere hours. But what the Zorith didn't know, what no one could have predicted, was that deep in Earth's orbit, something long thought lost to time was stirring. A forgotten human program, buried in secret for centuries, was being activated. Something that had been designed long ago, when Earth was still in its infancy as a spacefaring civilization, was now coming online. A defense system so advanced, so powerful, that no one truly understood its full potential. Suddenly, across the galaxy, a new signal blips onto the radar, a signal coming from Earth. It's fragmented and distorted, but unmistakably urgent. The transmissions are coming from deep within Earth's military command centers, from stations thought to be abandoned or wiped out during Earth's darkest days. The Zorith have arrived, crackles through the static. The message is short, desperate, and barely audible, but it's enough to send shockwaves across the globe. Humanity is in a panic. The news spreads like wildfire. The government, military, and civilians, everyone, are in a state of complete disarray. Earth's defenses were no match for the Zorith, and the overwhelming sense of doom begins to sink in. Earth's last hope, it seems, lies in the hands of its outdated military and a society unprepared for intergalactic war. The planet has no allies, no advanced technologies to stand against the Zorith's might. As panic escalates, a strange silence falls over Earth. The transmissions that had been broadcast so urgently suddenly stop. The world waits in suspense. What has happened? Are the Zorith already upon them? Or has something even worse occurred, an unexpected weapon, a new human defense, maybe even a total collapse in communication? The silence is deafening. For days, there's nothing but static. No further transmissions. No signs of the Zorith fleet arriving. People on Earth wonder if the end has already come, if the Zorith have arrived and simply wiped out Earth's remaining military defenses without leaving a trace. Are the human survivors hiding in fear, or is this the last breath of a planet about to fall? But then, just as hope begins to fade, a single word breaks through the static. A single, chilling word, activate. In the dark corners of Earth's orbit, deep within classified defense stations, long-hidden programs begin to hum to life. Earth's last-ditch effort, the Project Titan, has been triggered. This program was designed in the early years of Earth's space exploration, a project so secretive that even most military leaders had no idea it existed. It was humanity's secret weapon, hidden away in the farthest reaches of space for centuries. The Zorith had no way of knowing what was coming. With Project Titan activated, Earth's forgotten warriors, enhanced humans, genetically modified soldiers, begin to stir from their long cryosleep. These were soldiers like no other, equipped with advanced combat suits, artificial intelligence enhancements, and capabilities far beyond the regular human being. They were Earth's last hope, prepared to face an enemy that could crush them in moments. The Titan soldiers, each with specialized training, were designed for a war that humanity hoped they would never have to fight. And now, the time had come. Yet, as the Titan soldiers awake and prepare for the unimaginable battle ahead, the Zorith continue their advance. They know nothing of the human counterattack, still believing that Earth's military is too weak to mount any meaningful resistance. Their arrogance blinds them. They're convinced that the final phase of their conquest will be as easy as all the others before it. The Zorith warriors are prepared to face their primitive foes with overwhelming firepower, massive warships, drones, energy shields, and weapons that could level entire cities. But what they don't realize is that they are walking into a trap. The human soldiers may not have the advanced weaponry of the Zorith, but they have something far more dangerous: human ingenuity. They know the stakes: if they fail, Earth will be lost forever. Every Titan soldier is prepared to fight with everything they have, knowing the odds are against them. It's the classic underdog story, with humanity standing alone against an overwhelming force. As the Zorith begin their descent towards Earth, the Titan soldiers begin their final preparations. They know their mission will be dangerous, but they also know that they must hold back the tide of destruction long enough to give humanity a fighting chance. The Zorith are about to learn the hard way that even the most powerful warriors can be defeated when they underestimate their enemies. Humanity's fate now rests in the hands of these soldiers, who are armed not only with futuristic technology but with the heart and determination to fight for survival. The Zorith may have strength, but the humans have will. The battle for Earth has begun, and Earth's invincible invaders are about to face the one force they never saw coming. The silence that had gripped Earth for days finally breaks, as the dormant human warriors begin to stir. Deep within a hidden facility in orbit, cryogenic chambers hum to life. The faint, almost imperceptible sound of machinery echoes through the cold, dark room. For centuries, these soldiers have been in cryosleep, their bodies preserved in time, waiting for a moment they had never expected would come. But now, the Zorith threat has arrived, and these warriors are humanity's last hope. As the cryochambers open, the soldiers slowly awaken, one by one. They are disoriented at first, their minds foggy as they adjust to the reality of the present. For them, time has stood still. Their last memories were of training, of preparing for a war that seemed like a distant possibility, until now. The world they once knew is no longer the same. Earth is under siege, and these soldiers must fight for its survival. The first to awaken is Commander Bonner. His eyes snap open, scanning the room as his enhanced systems start to process the situation. Bonner had been through many battles in his time, and the horrors of war had left their marks on him. His face, hardened by years of combat, betrays no emotion as he sits up from his cryochamber. His mind quickly aligns with the new reality, and within moments, his body is no longer sluggish from the cryosleep. The genetic modifications and AI systems embedded in his body kick in, sharpening his senses, boosting his reflexes, and enhancing his tactical thinking. He is no longer the soldier he was before. Bonner is now a weapon with a singular goal: protect Earth at all costs. Bonner stands up, his body moving with the precision and agility of a seasoned warrior. His armor, which had been stowed away during the long years of sleep, now activates with a soft, mechanical hum. His armor is a marvel of technology, lightweight yet incredibly strong, equipped with energy shields, cloaking devices, and weaponry capable of taking down even the most advanced enemies. As he moves, his armor adjusts to his movements, making him one with the suit. He is a perfect combination of human ingenuity and advanced technology, designed for a mission that now seems even more daunting than ever. Bonner surveys the room as the other soldiers begin to stir from their cryochambers. His team is a diverse group, each soldier genetically enhanced for a different type of warfare. There's Sergeant Lee, a former Special Forces operative, who had undergone extreme physical modifications to enhance his strength and endurance. Then there's Lieutenant Hannah, a master of tactical warfare, equipped with AI implants that allow her to predict enemy movements with uncanny accuracy. Private Solis, a young soldier with exceptional marksmanship, and Corporal Dax, a demolitions expert with a mind for creating chaos on the battlefield. Every member of this team is a weapon in their own right, each with specialized abilities honed for one purpose: war. As the team regains its senses and their minds adjust, Bonner addresses them, his voice steady and commanding. "We have a mission. Earth is under attack, and the Zorith are coming. This is what we were made for." His words hang in the air, heavy with the weight of their responsibility. They are humanity's last hope. Despite their enhancements, the team is not without their doubts. These soldiers, though equipped with cutting-edge technology, are still human at their core. They carry the memories of past wars, of battles fought and friends lost. But they also carry the unwavering will to protect their home, to fight for Earth no matter the odds. The soldiers quickly fall into formation, their training kicking in as if they had never left the battlefield. Bonner leads the team out of the cryo chamber and into the command center, where the holographic map of Earth's defenses is displayed before them. It is a map of devastation, Zorith ships already making their way to Earth's orbit, their weapons poised for destruction. Humanity's forces are scattered and ill-prepared, and the Zorith fleet is growing larger by the minute. But then, Bonner's eyes fall on a section of the map that isn't showing up as an enemy signal. It's a small, hidden base, one that should have been wiped out long ago, but somehow remains intact. It is Earth's last line of defense. Bonner's mind races. This base contains the final stage of Project Titan, an untested weapon capable of altering the course of the war. The team's mission is clear: reach this base, activate the weapon, and turn the tide in humanity's favor. With his team in tow, Bonner activates his suit's cloaking device, and they slip through the facility unnoticed. The outside world is a different kind of battlefield. Their path to the hidden base is fraught with danger, and the Zorith could strike at any moment. But the soldiers remain resolute. Their training, their enhancements, and their will to survive drive them forward. As the team approaches the final leg of their journey, a strange feeling hangs in the air. This mission may be humanity's only chance, but it's also a suicide mission. The Zorith are closing in fast, and their technology outmatches anything humanity has ever seen. Every step forward feels like a countdown to their inevitable end. But there is no turning back. These soldiers were built for this moment. They were awakened for this one, singular purpose: to ensure humanity's survival. As they near the hidden base, Bonner stops. He looks back at his team, his face a mask of determination. They are ready. They may be outnumbered and outgunned, but the Zorith have underestimated one thing: the power of human resilience. They may be enhanced, but at their core, they are human. And that makes them stronger than any weapon the Zorith could ever create. The battle for Earth is about to begin, and the soldiers of Project Titan will stop at nothing to protect their home. The Zorith, the galaxy's most feared warriors, descend onto Earth with an air of superiority. These ruthless invaders, known for their powerful technology and overwhelming military strength, expect an easy victory. Earth, in their eyes, is nothing more than a primitive world with a fragile military. They expect to crush the human race in days, perhaps hours. But as they land, they are met with an unexpected force, one they could never have predicted. At first, everything seems to unfold according to the Zoritha's plan. Their massive warships descend from the sky, landing on Earth's surface with a roar. The Zorith warriors, heavily armed and covered in gleaming, battle-tested armor, step out confidently, expecting little more than minor resistance. The Earth's forces, already in disarray, are no match for their overwhelming firepower. But what the Zorith don't realize is that Earth's true defenders, the Titan soldiers, are not like the rest of humanity. The soldiers of Project Titan have been trained and enhanced for exactly this moment. As the Zorith begin to establish their foothold, the Titan soldiers are already in position. Deep in the shadows, cloaked by technology far more advanced than anything the Zorith have encountered, Bonner and his team prepare for the first strike. The Titan soldiers use their advanced cloaking devices to remain invisible, blending into the environment like ghosts. The Zorith patrols, confident in their invincibility, walk right past the hidden warriors. They have no idea that the very humans they think they've come to conquer are already preparing to fight back with a deadly precision. The Titan soldiers move like shadows, each one positioned perfectly for a coordinated attack. Bonner signals to his team, and the first strike begins. The air is filled with the sound of weapons charging, followed by a deafening barrage of fire. From every direction, the Titan soldiers strike without mercy. The Zorith, caught off guard, are thrown into disarray. Their advanced technology, their armor, and their weapons, all designed to deal with inferior foes, are no match for the precision and speed of the Titan soldiers. These enhanced humans strike fast, and they strike hard. Sergeant Lee is the first to engage in hand-to-hand combat, using his immense strength and speed to take down two Zorith warriors before they even know what hit them. With each punch, his enhanced muscles tear through the Zoritha's armor like paper. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Hannah coordinates the attack, using her advanced AI implants to predict the Zoritha's movements, always staying one step ahead of their counterattacks. She doesn't just fight, she anticipates. Her mind works faster than any Zorith warriors could ever hope to, allowing her to strike where it hurts most. Private Solis, with his unmatched marksmanship, picks off the Zorith from a distance, each shot perfectly aimed. The Zorith, who had expected to find a weak, unprepared human army, are now struggling to respond to the relentless onslaught. Their warriors fall one by one, each Titan soldier working in perfect unison, taking down their foes with brutal efficiency. The Zorith commanders, watching from their ships, are baffled. They had expected Earth's resistance to be scattered, disorganized, and weak. Instead, they are witnessing a level of precision and military expertise that they had never anticipated. Every strike by the Titan soldiers seems coordinated, as if they are not just fighting a war, they are hunting their prey. But despite the shock and awe of the Zorith, they quickly regroup and begin to adapt. Their advanced weaponry, though not as effective against the Titans, is still powerful. The Zorith warriors begin to use more sophisticated tactics, employing drones and AI-controlled war machines to counter the Titan soldiers' speed and stealth. These machines are designed for precision, but they are also predictable. The Titan soldiers, enhanced with AI themselves, quickly adapt to the new threat. They respond in kind, using their own AI systems to counter the Zoritha's moves. Commander Bonner is at the heart of the battle, moving through the chaos with cool precision. His mind, connected directly to the AI systems implanted in his body, processes information faster than any human could. He leads his team with a calm authority, directing them to target the most vulnerable points in the Zoritha's defenses. His own suit is a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology, giving him an edge in combat that the Zorith didn't see coming. But even with all their advanced technology and tactics, the Zorith are beginning to understand something crucial: they are not fighting an unprepared and weak species. The Titans are human, and humans are capable of more than anyone ever thought possible. They may be outnumbered, but the Zoritha's arrogance blinds them to the most dangerous weapon on Earth, the human spirit. As the battle rages on, the Zorith start to panic. They had underestimated humanity's resolve. The ground they thought they would easily conquer is now being fought for fiercely, with a level of savagery that they weren't prepared for. The Titan soldiers are relentless. They are humans who have been transformed into living weapons, each strike carrying the weight of human survival. In the midst of the battle, Sergeant Lee and Lieutenant Hannah manage to disable one of the Zoritha's key war machines. With the massive drone out of commission, the Zorith lose a vital advantage. This sparks a chain reaction. The remaining Zorith warriors, realizing they're not invincible, begin to lose their composure. The once unshakable confidence of the Zorith begins to crack as the Titan soldiers push forward. But even as the Zorith falter, they are not without their tricks. The Zorith have more resources, more soldiers, and more weapons at their disposal. The Titans' victories on the ground are only part of the battle. The war is far from over. But in this first encounter, humanity has proven that they will not go down without a fight. The Zorith may have thought they were invincible, but they are quickly learning that the human spirit, when pushed to the edge, is a force they cannot easily defeat. And with every victory, every Zorith warrior that falls, the Titans grow stronger. They are no longer just fighting for survival, they are fighting for Earth's future. And that makes them the most dangerous warriors the Zorith have ever faced. After their crushing defeat on Earth's surface, the Zorith are forced to retreat and regroup. Their once unshakable confidence has been shattered by the relentless assault from the Titan soldiers. The Zorith warriors had expected to overpower the humans with their superior technology and overwhelming numbers. But instead, they had encountered a foe unlike any they had faced before, humans enhanced with advanced technology, fighting with the ferocity of survival. The Zorith commanders are furious. They can't believe that their most elite warriors, their high-tech drones, and their formidable weaponry were outmatched by a mere human force. They need to act quickly before the tide of the war turns entirely in humanity's favor. They realize that to truly break Earth's defenses, they need to unleash their full might. And so, they begin preparations for a massive retaliatory strike, one that will bring Earth to its knees. The Zoritha's first move is to deploy their most advanced weaponry, massive drones, each one the size of a small building. These drones are equipped with laser cannons capable of cutting through even the toughest defenses. The Zorith also deploy their energy shields, which are nearly impenetrable to anything Earth has at its disposal. With these forces, they plan to wipe out the Titan soldiers and crush humanity's last hope. But the Zoritha's most devastating weapon comes from the skies. They initiate a series of orbital bombardments, launching powerful energy blasts from their ships in orbit, raining down destruction on Earth's cities. The bombardments are so intense that they leave craters in the ground, and entire regions are wiped off the map in seconds. Humanity watches in horror as their cities burn, knowing that the Zorith have the power to annihilate them completely. Back on Earth, Commander Bonner and his team are facing their darkest hour. The Titans have been pushed back, and their forces are spread thin. The Zoritha's bombardments are relentless, and Earth's remaining defenses are starting to crumble. But Bonner is not one to give up easily. He knows that humanity's last chance lies not in the strength of individual soldiers, but in the power of a weapon that has been kept hidden for decades, a weapon so powerful that it could turn the tide of the war in an instant. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in a top-secret military facility, Bonner and his team are led to a forgotten vault. Inside this vault lies the Dawn Hammer, an experimental orbital cannon, capable of delivering an immense blast of energy. The weapon was designed during the last Great War, but it was never fully activated, feared for its immense power. Bonner knows that the only way to stop the Zorith is to use the Dawn Hammer, but it comes with a risk. The weapon is so powerful that it could obliterate everything in its path, including the very planet it's meant to protect. The decision is not an easy one. Bonner and his team debate whether they should activate the Dawn Hammer, fully aware of the potential consequences. But they realize that they have no other choice. The Zoritha's forces are overwhelming, and if they don't act now, Earth will be lost. The weapon is their only hope, even if it means sacrificing everything. With the press of a button, the Dawn Hammer is brought online. The ground shakes as the immense cannon powers up. The team can feel the weight of history on their shoulders. This is the last hope for humanity. Bonner orders his soldiers to prepare for the final strike. The Dawn Hammer, a massive structure that stretches hundreds of meters into the sky, begins to charge. The energy levels in the cannon spike as the Zorith continue their orbital bombardment, unaware of what is about to happen. As the cannon charges to full power, Bonner gives the signal to fire. The blast is unlike anything anyone has ever seen. A beam of pure energy shoots from the Dawn Hammer, cutting through the atmosphere with a deafening roar. The energy wave ripples across the sky, reaching the Zorith fleet in orbit. The moment the blast hits the first Zorith warship, it disintegrates instantly, leaving behind nothing but a burst of light. The beam then cuts through the Zoritha's energy shields with ease, tearing through their defenses as if they were paper. One by one, the Zorith ships are obliterated by the Dawn Hammer's immense power. The bombardments from the Zorith falter as their fleet is decimated. The massive drones, which had been wreaking havoc on Earth, fall from the sky, their systems overloaded by the energy blast. The remaining Zorith forces, caught off guard by the overwhelming power of the Dawn Hammer, scramble to escape, but it's too late. The Zoritha's counterattack has been completely neutralized in a single, devastating strike. Earth's last hope has not only survived, it has triumphed. But the victory comes at a cost. The Dawn Hammer's energy consumption is catastrophic. The weapon's power has caused massive environmental damage, and the blast has triggered a chain reaction that threatens the stability of Earth's atmosphere. The weapon has saved humanity, but it may have just doomed the planet. Bonner and his team watch in awe as the sky above them begins to clear, revealing the shattered remains of the Zorith fleet. The Zorith warriors, once confident in their superiority, have been shattered by the power of humanity's last weapon. But as the dust settles, Bonner knows that the war is far from over. The Zorith will regroup, and they will come again. But now, humanity has shown that it can stand against the galaxy's most feared warriors. The tide has turned, but the true battle for Earth's future is only just beginning. The Zorith may have been defeated for now, but the real challenge lies ahead. Can humanity rebuild, or will the Zorith return to finish what they started? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, humanity will never back down. The victory delivered by the Dawn Hammer was a spectacular sight. The blast from the weapon decimated the Zorith fleet, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Massive warships, once considered invincible, were reduced to nothing but debris and fireballs in the sky. But while humanity had struck a decisive blow against the Zorith, the victory was not without its cost. Commander Bonner stood at the front lines, watching as the remnants of the Zorith fleet drifted in space. The Dawn Hammer had worked, but the cost had been heavy. Several of his closest soldiers, men and women he had fought beside for years, had not made it out of the battle. The soldiers who survived were exhausted, battered, and emotionally shaken by the loss of their comrades. The weight of their fallen teammates' sacrifice was a heavy burden that Bonner could feel pressing on his chest. But there was no time to mourn. The battle wasn't over yet. The remaining Zorith forces, their confidence shaken and their numbers severely depleted, tried to regroup. The once unbeatable warriors now faced a different kind of opponent, a humanity that had revealed its true strength. The Zorith had underestimated humanity's resilience, and they had paid the price. However, the Zorith were not a species to admit defeat easily. They may have been wounded, but they were not finished. Bonner's team knew that the Zorith would strike again, they always did. So, humanity's next move had to be just as decisive. They couldn't afford to wait for the Zorith to rebuild their strength. Earth's forces quickly shifted from defensive to offensive, preparing for a final, all-out assault to end the war once and for all. The Zorith made their move. Despite the devastation caused by the Dawn Hammer, they launched a final push, hoping to crush Earth's remaining forces and reclaim their position of power. They had one last card to play, their command ship, a massive fortress in the sky, capable of launching devastating assaults. It was the heart of their fleet, and without it, their forces would fall apart. The Zorith believed that if they could destroy humanity's command center, they would cripple the planet's ability to fight back. But they were gravely mistaken. Commander Bonner, now fully aware of the Zoritha's weaknesses, prepared his counterattack. Earth's forces had been through hell, but the fire within them had only grown stronger. They had tasted victory, and now they were determined to take it all the way. The plan was set. Bonner and his remaining team would lead the charge, boarding the Zorith command ship and destroying it from within. It would be a suicide mission, but they had no choice. The fate of Earth rested on their shoulders. The journey to the Zorith command ship was perilous. As Bonner and his soldiers infiltrated the Zorith fleet, they encountered fierce resistance. Zorith warriors, though weakened, fought with relentless determination. The air was thick with laser fire, explosions, and the sounds of clashing forces. The Titans, Bonner's elite soldiers, were ready for anything. Despite their losses, they moved with precision, cutting through the Zorith lines with unyielding resolve. Bonner's team finally reached the command ship, a massive structure that loomed in the distance like a dark, menacing shadow. The soldiers fought their way through the corridors, using every ounce of their enhanced abilities to survive. But it wasn't just about firepower, it was also about timing. The Zorith had set up multiple layers of defenses, and each step brought them closer to their ultimate goal. Inside the command ship, Bonner's team engaged in brutal close-quarters combat. Zorith warriors, their bodies enhanced by cybernetic implants, were fierce opponents. But the humans were fighting for their survival, and nothing was more dangerous than a soldier with nothing left to lose. One by one, the Zorith warriors fell. Bonner's team moved like a well-oiled machine, covering each other's backs and pushing forward. They had lost comrades, but they hadn't lost their will to win. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the central control room of the Zorith command ship. Bonner's heart pounded in his chest as he entered, the weight of the mission bearing down on him. The control room was heavily guarded, but the Zorith had no idea what was coming. Bonner signaled his team to prepare. With a single, coordinated strike, the Zorith defenses were overwhelmed. Bonner stood in front of the control panel, his hands shaking. He had to destroy the command ship's core, but it meant activating a self-destruct sequence that would tear the ship apart. He hesitated for only a moment, thinking of all the soldiers they had lost, of the families back home waiting for a chance at peace. There was no turning back. He activated the self-destruct sequence. As the countdown began, Bonner's team fought their way back out of the command ship, knowing they didn't have much time. The Zorith warriors who had been guarding the control room tried to stop them, but they were no match for the humans' resolve. With one final push, Bonner and his team made it to the escape pods, launching themselves away from the Zorith ship just as the countdown reached 0. The Zorith command ship exploded in a massive fireball, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The destruction was complete, and the Zorith had lost their last chance at victory. Earth's forces had delivered a crushing blow that shattered the Zoritha's hold on the galaxy. The remaining Zorith ships, now leaderless and broken, began to retreat, their once proud fleet reduced to nothing more than a fleeing shadow. But Bonner knew that this victory, while monumental, was just the beginning. The Zorith might be broken, but they were not gone. They would regroup, rebuild, and strike again. But humanity had proven something that day: they were no longer the underdogs. They had the strength, the will, and the technology to take on the most powerful warriors in the galaxy. As Bonner looked out at the remnants of the Zorith fleet, he knew one thing for certain: humanity's fight for survival had just begun. But with each victory, they were proving that they would never back down. The Zorith might have been broken, but Earth's warriors would stand firm, ready to face whatever the future held. The Zorith had been relentless. After months of fighting, their pride had been shattered, their fleets crippled, and their command ship destroyed. But now, in a desperate bid to end humanity once and for all, they had made their final move. The Zorith warlords, now enraged and consumed by the need for revenge, descended upon Earth's capital with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of the planet. This would be their last attempt to crush humanity. Their fleet, though smaller, was packed with their most advanced weapons and technology. They were going to make sure this time, humanity wouldn't survive. Earth's capital was a massive city, teeming with life, its towering skyscrapers gleaming in the daylight. The air was thick with anticipation as the Zorith warships loomed above, their engines rumbling ominously. Humanity's last hope rested with Commander Bonner and the remaining Titan soldiers. After everything they had been through, Earth's defense was now in their hands. Bonner knew this would be their hardest battle yet, an all-or-nothing fight for the survival of the human race. The final stand began with a deafening roar. The Zorith unleashed a brutal assault from above, sending waves of energy blasts down upon the capital. Massive explosions shook the city, tearing through buildings and sending civilians into panic. The ground below rumbled as the Zoratha's war machines landed, their heavy footfalls cracking the pavement as they deployed their soldiers, ready for the final assault. Bonner and his team, standing in the heart of the city, didn't hesitate. This wasn't just a fight to save their world, it was a fight for the future of every human being on Earth. Using every advantage they had, they deployed cloaking devices that made them nearly invisible to the Zoratha's sensors. Their enhanced suits of power armor gave them unmatched strength, and their AI-assisted tactics allowed them to predict and counter the Zoratha's every move. As they advanced into the chaos of the city, the Titans became a blur of destruction. Their cloaking devices made them nearly invisible, allowing them to ambush the Zorath at close range. The Zorath soldiers, confident in their superiority, were caught off guard. It wasn't long before they realized that these primitive humans were far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The streets of the capital became a battleground. Zorath warriors, armed with energy weapons and cybernetic enhancements, charged forward with terrifying precision. The Titans fought back with equal ferocity. Bonner, leading the charge, was a force to be reckoned with. His AI-enhanced mind allowed him to analyze the battlefield in real time, coordinating his team's movements with surgical precision. They tore through Zorath lines with brutal efficiency, cutting down enemies in a flurry of motion. Orbital bombardments rained down on the city from above, creating explosions that sent shockwaves through the streets. Buildings crumbled, and fires raged in the aftermath. The Zorath were trying to decimate the city from orbit, but the Titans were prepared. They used their power armor to shield themselves from the worst of the blasts, using the chaos to their advantage. Their cloaked positions and swift movements allowed them to strike at the Zorath with deadly force, even as the world around them seemed to fall apart. In the midst of the fighting, Bonner's team encountered the Zoratha's most fearsome warriors, cybernetic soldiers that had been enhanced to unimaginable levels. These Zorath soldiers were faster, stronger, and more deadly than anything Earth's forces had ever faced. They clashed in close-quarters combat, with steel and energy blades flashing through the air. Each Titan soldier fought as if they had nothing left to lose, their power armor protecting them from the worst of the damage. Bonner himself was a blur of motion, his every move guided by the AI that enhanced his abilities, making him an unstoppable force on the battlefield. The fight was brutal, and it seemed as if neither side would give an inch. Zorath soldiers fell, their cybernetic limbs torn apart by the precision strikes of the Titans. But the Zorath refused to relent. They fought back with everything they had, their overwhelming numbers and advanced technology still a potent threat. The streets were littered with the bodies of both humans and Zorath, a testament to the fierce battle being fought for the soul of Earth. But Bonner and his team knew they couldn't afford to lose. The battle was far from over, and the Zorath had one last weapon, an enormous energy cannon capable of wiping out entire cities. It was stationed in the heart of the Zoratha's forces, heavily guarded by their most elite warriors. If it fired, it would level the entire capital. Bonner knew that they had to take it out, fast. With his team's help, Bonner launched a daring assault on the energy cannon. They fought their way through waves of Zorath soldiers, cutting down anyone who stood in their way. The air was thick with the smell of burning metal and the sound of clashing weapons. It was a brutal, unforgiving fight, but the Titans didn't stop. They pushed forward, inch by inch, until they finally reached the cannon's control room. There, in the heart of the Zoratha's forces, Bonner and his team faced off against the final wave of Zorath warriors. The battle was fierce, blades clashing, energy blasts crackling through the air, and the earth trembling beneath their feet. But Bonner's determination burned brighter than ever. He and his team fought with everything they had, and after what felt like an eternity, they finally took down the cannon, preventing the Zorath from destroying the city. But even in their defeat, the Zorath were not done. Their commanders, furious at the loss of their weapon, launched a final, desperate attack. The battle raged on, and as the Zorath closed in on Bonner's team, something changed. The humanity in their hearts, the fight to protect their families, friends, and the planet they called home, fueled them to push forward one last time. With a final, thunderous roar, Bonner and his team unleashed everything they had left. The Zorith were beaten back, their forces shattered, and their invasion thwarted. The battle for Earth had been won, and humanity had emerged victorious. As the smoke cleared, Bonner stood tall amidst the ruins of the battlefield. His team, though battered and broken, had done the impossible. They had defeated the Zorith and saved Earth. The cost had been immense, but humanity's spirit had proven stronger than even the most advanced alien warriors. The final battle had been won, but Bonner knew this victory was only the beginning of a new chapter for humanity, a chapter of hope, resilience, and the promise of a future where humanity would never back down. The battle was over. The Zorith, once thought to be invincible, lay broken and defeated. The war that had raged across Earth's skies, its cities, and its very soul, had finally ended. Humanity had emerged victorious, but the price of this victory was steep. The streets were littered with the remnants of both sides' struggle, crashed warships, shattered buildings, and the echoes of a war that would never be forgotten. Bonner stood alone in the center of the devastation, looking out over the ruined capital. His heart was heavy with the loss of his team, the soldiers who had fought with him until the very end. Some had fallen in the battles leading up to the final assault, and others had made the ultimate sacrifice in the desperate push to save Earth. Their courage had been unmatched, their spirit unwavering, and though they were gone, their legacy would live on forever in the hearts of the survivors. Earth's citizens, once cowering in fear under the threat of extinction, now stood together in triumph. Despite the massive destruction, there was an overwhelming sense of hope in the air. The world had changed. Humanity had learned something vital, something that could not be taken away. They were not helpless. They were capable of incredible strength, and in the face of impossible odds, they had risen up to protect their home. In the aftermath of the battle, the survivors began to rebuild, but the task ahead was monumental. Cities had been leveled, infrastructure destroyed, and millions had lost their lives. Yet, amidst the destruction, there was a renewed sense of purpose. The Earth's leaders came together, and with the help of the remaining military forces, they began the long process of recovery. The Zorith threat had been eliminated, but humanity had learned the true cost of peace. Bonner's death, along with the deaths of so many others, weighed heavily on those who remained. But there was also a shared understanding that their sacrifices had not been in vain. The war had changed the course of history. Humanity had fought not just for survival, but for a place in the galaxy. And they had proven, without a doubt, that they were not to be underestimated. In the months that followed, Earth's new leadership began to emerge. People who had once been ordinary civilians now found themselves leading the charge to rebuild and defend their world. Scientists, engineers, and military commanders worked tirelessly to reverse the damage, developing new technologies and strengthening Earth's defenses. The survivors of the Titan teams, along with other brave men and women who had stepped up during the war, became the new pillars of Earth's strength. They were no longer seen as mere soldiers, they were heroes, the saviors of humanity. But as the rebuilding continued, one question lingered in the minds of those who had lived through the war: what would happen now? Earth had been changed forever. It was no longer just a small planet in the corner of a vast galaxy. The Zoritha's invasion had shown humanity what they were capable of when pushed to the brink. Now, they had to decide what kind of future they wanted to build. Bonner's final message, sent from the heart of the war, resonated across the globe: we fight. We survive. This was more than a declaration of victory, it was a statement of humanity's resilience. It was a reminder to everyone, from Earth's leaders to the youngest child, that humanity would never be defeated. The message was broadcasted to the stars, a warning to anyone who dared to challenge Earth again. The message echoed through the void of space, a beacon of hope and defiance. The Zorith may have learned the hard way not to underestimate humanity, but they were not the only threat in the galaxy. There were other alien races, other unknown dangers lurking in the darkness. Earth, now united and stronger than ever, was ready for whatever the future held. Across the planet, there were small but significant moments of healing. People began to gather at memorials dedicated to those who had fallen during the war. Monuments were built in honor of the Titan soldiers, their bravery forever etched into the history of humanity. Banner's name, along with those of his team, became a symbol of everything humanity stood for: courage, sacrifice, and the relentless drive to protect one's own. Earth's military had grown exponentially stronger, learning from the innovations and tactics that had been developed during the war. The Titan soldiers' power armor, once the cutting edge of human technology, was now mass-produced for Earth's new defense forces. The AI systems that had once been used to enhance Banner's abilities were refined and distributed to military commanders around the globe. Humanity was no longer a primitive species, they were now a force to be reckoned with. In the quiet moments, as the world began to heal, people often looked up at the stars, wondering what lay beyond their own planet. The stars, once a distant and unreachable place, now felt closer. Humanity's victory over the Zorith had opened their eyes to the vastness of the universe, and they knew they had a long journey ahead. But they also knew one thing for certain: they were not alone, and they were not powerless. With their future secure, humanity began to explore their place in the galaxy. Diplomatic efforts with other alien races that had watched the conflict unfold from afar began to take shape. It wasn't long before Earth's representatives were invited to the galactic councils that had once dismissed them as insignificant. They were no longer just a small, defenseless planet, they were Earth, unbroken, undefeated, and ready to stand side by side with the other civilizations of the stars. The Zorith, broken and humiliated, retreated from the galaxy. Their empire, once feared and unchallenged, was no more. They had learned the hard way that humanity would not simply roll over and surrender. In their retreat, they left behind a galaxy forever changed by the human spirit. Humanity had proven that it could fight, and it could win. The message was clear: no matter how powerful the enemy, no matter how dire the odds, humanity would always rise, always fight, and always survive. As Earth rebuilt and looked toward a brighter future, the final lesson of the war was crystal clear: humanity's strength didn't lie in their technology, or their weapons, or their power armor. It lay in their hearts, their unyielding will to fight for what they loved, to protect their families, their planet, and their future. And as the stars watched over them, Earth knew that no matter what came next, they were ready.